Yes, indeed. What's happening, world? B March Boxing, and we back at it. And we back at it with another post-fight review, post-fight results. I got my man Chris Caban, one of the best boxing minds here on these YouTube streets. What's happening, Chris? You said what?
Chilling, man. Chilling. You know it's fight night. I had to hit you up.
Yeah, dogs. They got this fight a split decision for Daddy Jacobs, man. Daddy Jacobs got himself a little gift. I had this fight a draw. Let's hear Danny right quick.
I thought I could have done something better. Atmosphere was a little weird, no fans, nothing to really pump you up, but it's my fault. We had a great camp, and I obviously didn't show everything that I needed to. And my corner was obviously instructing me from the corner, but I guess I was looking for shots to load up. I was looking for the right hand. I seen it was susceptible every time he would go down. I would land it right, so I guess I got right hand happy. But I should have formulated the game plan and stuck to it. But I lived to see another day. Got a split decision. I mean, he's a game opponent. I didn't think it was that close by far.
Get the fuck out of here.
I guess me being a little stagnant makes it.
This shit was a draw, man.
I think a lot of people, because of the trash talk leading up to this fight, expected more of a firefight in there tonight. You weren't really interested in doing that early on. What was the thinking there?
Well, just to fill him out, see what kind of game plan he was going for. At the same time, in the beginning, I wanted to pop my jab and get acclimated, get my rock star on and moving and getting, just loose. And at the same time, I guess I let rounds slip through the bag.
Man, you was stiff, man.
Judge's opinion, obviously, it was closer than what I anticipated, but I had a good communication with my corner in between rounds, and it was letting me know that I was winning rounds. So I guess I got to go back to the tape, go back to the drawing boards, and apply a better effort next time around.
You mentioned your corner several times during the fight.
Who's this corner?
Pick it up. Did you bet on this fight? Asking, I guess, going to later rounds, are you bored in this fight? I mean,
he ain't have Andre Rozier with him tonight.
Just for me to apply a lot more effort, put that grit inside. I guess I treated it like a sparring match more than I did an actual fight. And that's to my bad. I apologize to all the fans who expected a more impact, jam-packed fight. But there's always next time, and I look forward to bigger and better names.
Let's talk about next time, because you are in line now to face one of the world champions at 168 pounds. Does a fight like this make you believe you're ready for that type of fight?
100%. A fight like this is only for a stepping stone.
All right, man. That's enough from him, man. That's enough from Danny Jacobs. What you thought about this fight, Chris?
I feel like there's more to me that hasn't been yet seen, but this wasn't about
you there? You kind of going in and out, my G. I can't hear you too well.
It felt kind of dry. I'm not going to lie to you.
I said he ain't pulled the trigger like that. It's like he ain't throwing enough punches to me.
Yeah, he was getting outboxed out there by the man, Gabe Rosado, man.
I thought
I didn't give my best effort.
You said what? You broke up.
I thought he lost his fight.
Oh, you did. You had this for Gabe Rosado. I had this fight a draw, y'all.
Really doing enough, man.
Yeah, Danny Jacobs, man, I thought he was losing rounds, man. It was going back and forth. After 6 rounds, I had it 3-3, y'all. I thought that they were going round 1 to Rosado, gave round 2 Jacobs, round 3 Rosado, round 4 Jacobs, round 5 Rosado, round 6 Jacobs. Through 6, I had it tied up a piece. Now, Danny Jacobs wasn't really he was getting outboxed out there by the jab. Rosado was landing a stiff jab, you know what I'm saying? He was mostly staying on the outside. When he did get up close, he did let his hands go, and he did land some nice chopping right hands, you know what I mean? The man Danny Jacobs was in there very flat-footed, looks like he wants to load up, you know what I mean? But he wasn't pulling the trigger like that, you know what I'm saying? The best right hands of the night came from the man Gabe Rosado. Let's hear Gabe.
So I let the emotions get to him. I let him get riled up. I let him,
Puerto Rican, from the Bronx, from Philly.
I fought a disciplined fight, a veteran fight, a world-class fight. I showed people I could box.
Hell yeah.
This guy went through a battle with Triple G. This guy went to battle with Canelo. I made it look easy. I thought I made it look easy. I felt good. I was jabbing up and down.
I like Gabe.
I slipped, I moved when it was time to. I mean, he didn't, and when it was time to exchange, he really didn't want to. He was the one doing the clinching.
You know, a lot of your fights, Gabe, you have been cut in those later rounds, and you are not cutting this one.
He's learned. He's learned.
Getting cut in those later rounds.
But look, man, I haven't been cut since 2014. Everybody's, thinking of, back when the Triple G fight, that fight stands out. But, since 2014, I haven't been cut. Me and Freddie Roach had a great camp.
Yeah, he's learning how to box without getting cut.
So I felt like, I'm going to let him get emotional. I'm going to let him get caught up, and then I'm going to use it against him. He came in with emotions. I thought I boxed him. I mean, no doubt. When they said the decision, he walked away like he was defeated. And then next thing you know, when he realized it was him, then, he went with it. It's bullshit.
You've had some tough losses in your career.
Gabe Rosado, a movie star, boy.
I don't know, man. Like, I'm a veteran, man, and it's a shame because, I don't know, man. I don't know why they don't give me a decision.
He shouldn't have lost this fight, dogs. I had this a draw. If at worst, a draw or him winning this fight, not Danny Jacobs.
I had him winning. I had him winning because Danny Jacobs didn't seem like he was doing that much to me.
Nah, he wasn't. Now, Danny did win round 12 on my card. Round 11, though, most of the later rounds 9, 10, 11, were Gabe Rosado's.
Tough loss, Gabe. I know you fought a tough fight.
It looked like something was off with him. Like he couldn't pull the trigger or something. You think he getting washed up before us?
Well, man, Danny Jacobs ain't no spring chicken, dogs. How long he been a pro?
Yeah, but he wasn't like that.
Like 07? This guy's a 13, 14-year pro now, man.
I ain't never seen him this bad though before. He looked bad tonight.
Yeah, he did.
He didn't look like this against Canelo.
Nah. In the Canelo fight, he came on strong in the later rounds. A little too late.
Yeah, he looked like an old-ass man tonight.
Very flat-footed. And the thing was, he got outboxed by Gabe Rosado. Gabe was very cool, calm, collected in there, especially when they got up in close quarters. You know what I mean? He had a beautiful combination, I believe, in round 7 or 8. You know what I'm saying? Where he threw a left hook to the body, a right hook to the head, and then he followed up by a left hook to the head. Nice 3-piece combination. And Gabe Rosado is just that type of fighter, man. If Gabe Rosado is in a close fight, he ain't gonna win that fight. They did that to him against guys. They've been doing this since the Charlo fight, which I was live in attendance for at the DC Armory. It was on a Lamont Peterson undercard. They've been doing that to this guy Gabe Rosado since that fight with that TM. What's that guy? J. Leon Love. Man, that fight, the last 2 fights versus that Luis Arias, a guy who fought Danny Jacobs. I thought he won that fight. Goddamn, but one thing about this guy, Chris, this only just raised up his stock. He's going to get fights in the future. That's one thing about Gabe Rosado. Gabe Rosado will always get fights. You know what I mean? Now, Danny Jacobs, they saying, is going to be trying to get himself a world title shot. They talking about Billy Joe Saunders. Huh?
His world title shot days should be over, man. He looked like shit tonight.
He did. He shouldn't get no world title shot off of this.
Nah, not fight Gabe Rosado.
That's what the commentary talking. And this guy, Chris Maddox, I don't like this guy. I don't like this guy one bit.
He get a title shot off of this. Something is corrupt.
For one, the guy was very negative tonight about the fight. Look, he expected, because he's a casual, he expected the man, Danny Jacobs, to knock him out in the first round, Peter Quillen style. You know what I'm saying? He didn't realize all the good stuff that the man Gabe Rosado was doing. Lateral movement, not running backwards. You know what I'm saying? Lateral movement, moving side to side. You know what I'm saying? Using that jab, using a stiff jab. You check it, throwing the body shots, even though Danny Jacobs did have more body shots, you know what I mean? Danny Jacobs did go to the body more, and that was the best thing he did. I don't know what, I guess it's because he probably couldn't catch this guy very clean for the most part to the head, but Chris Maddox was very negative in this fight, very negative about the fight, and then talking about Danny Jacobs gets a title shot at the WBO champ, Billy Joe Saunders, after this performance, you know what I mean? That's why I like him. I like, what's the guy, his partner, Sergio Mora. Sergio Mora be carrying him, man. He be making him look like he don't know shit about boxing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. I thought Gabe Rosado at least got a draw. He was the busier fighter. You know what I'm saying? And he probably landed the more punches. Now Danny Jacobs, some rounds I had him winning. They were close rounds. It's mostly because, he was catching stuff on the glove, you know what I mean? Blocking a lot of shots. But I didn't like this decision. We got people in the chat. Low Blow Champ says they're always hating on Gabe. Absolutely, man. Main Boxing Biker says Jacobs look like trash. What the deal, Main Boxing Biker? Salute. He sure did. Main Boxing Biker says that's some BS. I think Rosado either edged or draw. That's how I see it too. On my scorecard officially, I have it 6-6, but I could see, a swing round going in favor of the man Gabe Rosado. Gabe Rosado had the man, what's his name in his corner? Freddie Roach.
Like some rounds, it looked like Jacobs didn't want to fight. His corner was telling him, man, you got to go, you got to do something.
Yeah. His new trainer, whom I don't even know, I barely could see the guy's face behind a mask and glove. I said mask and glove, behind a face shield and a mask, you know what I mean? But I don't know if he gave the man great instructions, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, I thought Danny Jacobs, man, was very stagnant in there, very lackadaisical, and he fought. I think all that trash he was talking to build up the fight. I don't know if they have that kind of hatred or animosity amongst each other, but Danny Jacobs was trying to portray like they really do hate each other. And when they came into the ring, Danny Jacobs ain't have that same type of intensity. He ain't have that same type of energy like during the build up for this fight. You know? People in the chat, we got JR Durant, Junior Durant, he says, I had it a draw, so did I. Hacienda Fuentes says Rosado won the championship rounds. I had him winning one of the championship rounds, round 11. Round 12, I gave it to Danny Jacobs. Junior Durant says, but Gabe was busy and Jacobs was tentative. I agree with that 100%. Main Boxing Biker says Jacobs was not mentally there. Yeah, he wasn't. And I think it's also because he thought he was going to be in there with the cupcake. Gabe Rosado's just improved. That's what it is. Gabe Rosado said he ain't been cut since 2014. I got to go back and look at the fights, but I remember there was a point in time this man was getting cut all over the place in every single fight. Even the fight versus Peter Quillen, which he started coming on strong, started whooping then his ass. It got stopped because of cuts versus Peter Quillen, Junior Durant says, Did you bet on the fight? No, I didn't. I didn't put no money on this fight, to be honest. LOL. Main Boxing Biker says Jacobs was not even listening to his corner. He was telling his trainer what he was, what he doing instead of listening. He was. He did. Boxer Learner says, damn, Jacobs always disappointing. I'm glad you said that, Boxer Learner, with always. Keyword always. And that's the thing, man. Danny Jacobs, like I said, man, Danny Jacobs ain't got that Brownsville in him, man. Bad Danny Jacobs was a big 160 guy. Okay, this guy, Gabe Rosado, came from 150, 154. They fighting at 168. Look at how much bigger the man Danny Jacobs was. And Danny Jacobs was scared to pull the trigger for some reason. And that's the thing. Danny Jacobs, man, he has the skills, the tool set, the size, the motherfucking reach, the straight right hand behind the jab. But his punch accuracy is not the most accurate. And that's what I've noticed ever since the Triple G fight. You know what I mean? I thought he won the Triple G fight. But Danny Jacobs, if he had accurate punch placement, he would be a devastating fighter. You know what I mean? Athleticism, he has it all. Tonight he was very flat-footed in there. The man, what's his name? Gabe Rosado had more lateral movement. But Danny Jacobs, man, is just something about him, man. He just don't know how to change gears. You know what I mean? That's what it is. He don't know how to change gears. What was the reason he couldn't change gears tonight? There was no reason whatsoever. You know what I mean?
He looked like you said, he was a 13-year pro. He probably just getting old, man.
Yeah.
I think he's seeing his better because every fight he ain't doing better. He's digressing to me.
He is. And also level of competition.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, 2 years ago, he was laughing at Gabe Rosado for calling him out there for a fight. He was like, man, you ain't on my level, man. I'm on world championship status, fighting the Triple Gs and the Cannolis of the world. 2020, of course, okay, it's a pandemic year. He was glad to take that fight, and they tried to build it, man. I'm sure, man, what's the guy's name? Eddie Hearn tried to tell him, man, talk all kinds of crazy shit, build this fight. There's a Friday night fight. But still, he couldn't get it done with the hands as far as really making a statement. You know what I mean? You check it. So, where we at? Main Boxing Biker says Jacob's corner was like, did you bet on this fight? LOL. Yeah, they did. They did say that. Alcides Fuentes says, do you think Danny Jacobs at 168 is too sluggish? He's the same guy I think at 168. I'm sorry, that I seen at 160. You know what I mean? You know, there was nothing. You know, the best name till this day on the guy's resume is Peter Quillen, as far as a man he beat. You know what I mean? And Peter Quillen's a guy who started boxing late, kind of just like Gabe Rosado. You know what I mean? Gabe Rosado barely had an amateur career. You know what I mean? You know, so. And Danny Jacob was a Golden Gloves New York amateur standout since he was a kid. You check it. So he might be faded, man. His best days are probably behind him. There's opportunities, plenty of opportunities at 168 for world titles, whether it's Caleb Plant with the IBF strap, whether it's Billy Joe Saunders, who is same network, DAZN, with the WBO strap. And Cannoli is probably going to be grabbing himself a WBA title when he beats the man Callum Smith later on next month. You know what I mean? So Danny Jacobs gets a dubious split decision. Let me see where we at in the chat. Where we at in the chat? Wise King says, do you think Danny Jacobs is finished? No, I won't say he's finished. Danny Jacobs is who he is. You know what I mean? Danny Jacobs should have knocked the guy out or stopped him. But then Gabe Rosado, like I said, has gotten better from them Triple G fights, Charlo fights. You know, all them fights that he had back in the day. You know what I mean? You check it. So I don't think Danny Jacobs is definitely finished, but I think he don't know how to change gears, and he was stuck in slow-mo tonight. You know what I mean? Elvis Gonzalez says they stay doing Rosado wrong. Shaking my head. Half his fights are robberies. I'm not gonna say robberies. I'll say fights because there ain't no fight that I thought that he definitely won, that he won widely and they didn't give him the decision. Nah, that's never happened as far. If anything, if the closest thing he's had to a robbery to me was when he fought Jalen Love. And that was like in 2012 or some shit, man. That was a long time ago. You know, but he does get bad decisions, especially in close fights. But Gabe Rosado is who he is. He did lose to the Polish guy, Sulecki, a fight he was losing the whole time. He managed to drop him twice in the later rounds, but he still managed to lose the fight. You know what I mean? Burgess Meredith, what's happening, Burgess? He says, yo, what's up, B? What's good with you, man? How you doing? Jason Sosa Boxing says, Rosado outboxed Jacobs. The fight wasn't close. How the zone made it seem. I believe, I agree. It's XY Beast. He's in the chat. He says, who won? Danny Jacobs won. Main Boxing Biker says, Jacobs just can't seem to get over the hump. And that's on him, man. That's on him. Yeah, I mean, he was the one supposed to represent for the Americans as far as the middleweights, okay? Danny Jacobs, don't forget, was a highly touted amateur coming out of New York City. You know what I mean? He was supposed to be the next standout star heavyweight. He suffered his first loss versus Pirog, okay? Then he got the cancer. You know, these are debilitating things that held his career back. Then he came back. He fought the likes of Sergio Mora, who was calling this fight. and Sergio Mora put this guy on the canvas. That's when I was like, oh my gosh, this guy gonna get dropped by Sergio Mora? Are you serious? Then they did a rematch, and he did what he did. He stopped him. You know what I mean? But they should have never fought twice. You know what I'm saying? He knocked out Peter Quillen in one round. Peter Quillen is who he is. He's a guy who started boxing late. He's got stupid power, but Peter Quillen ain't no he's not a guy who loves boxing. He's a guy who picked up boxing because, man, he needed some paper. He was working as a dishwasher at IHOPs. You know what I mean? You know. Wise King says Charlo versus Rosado next. LOL. I ain't trying to see that. Burgess Murder says, yo, who you see winning between Plant versus Canelo? Canelo. That's why I got winning. Main Boxing Biker says it takes Jacobs mad rounds to gain confidence versus Lil G. He could have won that. I agree. I had him winning the fight. You know, I thought he won the fight, but you need to learn how to change gears, man. Elvis Gonzalez says Charlo will knock Jacobs if they was to fight now. I don't know about that, Elvis Gonzalez. Charlo couldn't even knock out Derevchenko. I'm saying it only a man like Dmitry Pirog can knock out the man Danny Jacobs. Dmitry Pirog was a special fighter. Charlo not so much. Who has Charlo knocked out at the 160? Who? Dennis Hogan? Come on, man. Look, I got nothing against Charlos, man. Nothing. But the Charlos are not what some people make them out to be. And I gotta keep saying this almost every weekend now. When people come here and say they'll knock out so-and-so when they couldn't even knock out their last opponent. You know what I'm saying? Nah. The man, Jamal Charlo couldn't even knock out Korobov. You breaking up, Chris? You said what? Hello? Can't hear you, bro. Where we at in the chat? Who won the fight?
He knocked out the black dude from the contender.
Dan, repeat that again. For some reason, your mic, my guy. I don't know why. I don't think it's my internet because I'm on the internet right now doing this live. You're going in and out. Okay, Carlos Cruz says, who won the fight? Danny Jacobs did. Minimax Boxing says 7-5 Jacobs, but wow, he looked horrible. That's one person, might be the first person. What's up with you, Minimax? Good to see you, man. Minimax is probably the first person so far in this chat who has a victory for the man, Danny Jacobs. Everybody so far got it either a Rosado victory or a draw. That's how I had it. Carlos Cruz says, sup, peeps? What's up with you, Carlos? Thanks for coming through. Wise King says, Dev got more dog than Jacobs. Who, Derevchenko? Why? Because Derevchenko can go the distance with Triple G and who else he lost to? 3 world title opportunities. Who he lost to? Charlo, Triple G, and who else? Jacobs. He did get put on the floor by Jacobs. If he got more dog than Jacobs, why he couldn't beat Jacobs? We got to put things in context. What we saying, man? You know, look, man. Danny Jacobs ain't got that Brownsville. You know, Brownsville never ran, never will kind of mentality. Zab Judah, Shannon Briggs, Mike Tyson style. You know what I'm saying? But he got that Curtis Stevenson. Curtis Stevenson from Brownsville. I know he's from Brooklyn, huh? He got that Curtis Stevenson in him. But at least Curtis Stevenson is a guy who acts like a tough guy coming in there to knock your head off. And that's what he used to do. You know, he used to knock people's heads off. At least he got that tough guy in him. Even though he ain't got a chin. Yo, man, I'm about to. Why don't you hang up and try to call back in, Chris? Cause you going in and out, bro, and it ain't my internet because we talking on the live stream live with no issues. Go ahead, hang up, come call back in. Yeah, Devichenko, I don't know if he got more dog than Jacobs. If he did, he would have been a world champion that night, not Danny Jacobs. You know what I mean? Julian Roca. What's up? Chris, can't hear you, bro. Canelo, where we at in the chat? Julian Roca says Canelo pound for pound number one. No, he's not. Why? Cause Ring Magazine said so. That biased ass magazine that turned into shit because De La Hoya owns that joint and they publications and their guys, of course, they have a bias against the PBC fighters because they all used to be under Golden Boy. Then Al Heyman and Schaefer snatched the rug up under under Oscar De La Hoya while Oscar De La Hoya was, skiing, nose diving, basically sniffing coke and wearing drag. They took all the fighters from up under him, so they will never put no fighters besides Cannoli as number one pound for pound. And Cannoli could never be pound for pound number one with all the advantages he always tries to get when he fights every single opponent. How are you number one pound for pound when you went up to light heavyweight and you fought the weakest link at light heavyweight, Kovalev? Why not fight the better beef? How about when you come to 168 pounds? You talking about you're never going to fight any Mexicans ever again. There's David Benavidez who's there licking his chops, who wants some of that smoke. So Cannoli's not number one. Cannoli had the nerve to even give Danny Jacobs a rehydration clause. You can't be number one when you're doing them type of things. Even the man, Callum Smith, got a 4-week notice to get for the fight. They fighting on December 19th. That fight got announced. Cannoli came on his Instagram Live and announced that fight on November 19th, exactly 4 weeks away. That's not pound for pound style. So that's one thing that's something we're always gonna debunk over here on B Mar's channel, man. Cannoli number one, forget about it. You know what I'm saying? Cannoli is a kind of guy who's been, look, man, he's fought the guys like Lara and Austin Trout, man. These are fights that he arguably lost. You know what I'm saying? You could do what you gotta do, you know what I mean? Hey, I ain't that. You check it? Yeah, man. So, Cannoli's not number one pound for pound. The guy's never even been he decided to fight Triple G when he seen Triple G slipping on his pimping when he fought the man Danny Jacobs. Before that, Cannoli ain't want no smoke with Triple G. You know what I mean? I'm not the only one who says this. Mexican legends like Eric Morales, Juan Manuel Marquez, they've all expressed their grievances against Cannoli's cherry-picking ways and always fighting fighters when they pass their prime or giving them short notices. So he ain't number one, my guy. I'm sorry to say that to you, Julian Rocha. I hope I didn't break your heart. All right, where we at in this chat? Minimax Boxer says Charlo's power is overrated. Yeah, it is at 160. At 154, sure enough, he was knocking fellas out. You know what I mean? He was knocking fellas out like how he did Julian J. Rock Williams. You know what I mean? He went the distance with Trout. He does have a nice technique, has a beautiful jab, nice right hand behind it. But for sure, his power is overrated. Where we at in the chat? Wise King says, what do you want Charlo next fight to be? Charlo at 160, next fight. A Cannoli fight or Triple G fight. I don't want him to fight the man Bubu Andrade. Fuck that. That's what the Zone are trying to pitch in this Chris Maddox. I don't like that guy. This guy came on last week on Max Kellerman's show, Max on Boxing, over there on ESPN, and he was there trying to con the public, talking about the best fight to be made in boxing right now. And I want to see it even more than Errol Spence and Crawford. This is what Chris Mannix is saying. Man, the best fight to be made right now, and I'm salivating for that fight, is Demetrius Andrade versus Jamal Charlo. I'm like, huh? Even Max Kellerman was like, come on, man. Come on, dude. More than Spence versus Crawford? And he's trying to throw his bulletin points on why that's a better fight. No, you're full of shit. You're just doing that to try and deflect and keep guys like Triple G fighting the Zerametas of the world, fighting nobodies, when he can fight Demetrius Andrade right there on the zone. You know what I'm saying? You know? So nah, fuck that. They're not gonna put the two black fighters against each other just because y'all ain't trying to put the Cannolis and the Triple Gs versus the black fighters. Forget about it, man. I'm not with that. You know what I'm saying? Who do I want to see Charlo fight next? Well, you know, there's a Cannoli still holding on to a WBA title over there at 160. I'd still like to see that fight. Jamal Charlo versus Triple G. I'd really love to see that fight. Who else is at 160? You know, 160 is not as deep as it used to be, you know what I mean? As it was like maybe when the zone started. You know what I'm saying? Triple G is cherry picking right now. He's on his last legs. You know what I'm saying? He's only going to fight nobodies up until he get that third Cannoli fight. You know what I mean? Cannoli's going to be there cherry picking, you know, fighting solely, strictly only European fighters. Besides Danny Jacobs, that's all he's fought ever since he came to the DAZN channel. You know what I mean? So, you know, I think those are the best fights right there. You know, Demetrius Andrade, he wants Billy Joe Saunders at 168, or Cannoli. He still wants to smoke. You know what I mean? You check it, Caleb Plant, you know? So there's some fights out there, you know what I'm saying? But specifically for Charlo, I'd love to see him fight Triple G or Cannoli. Give that man a big payday, man. Let him fight the so-called best of the best in the division. They still have Triple G as number 10, pound for pound, and according to Ring Magazine. How? I don't know, but they have him number 10. Now, if Charlo beats the guy, will finally somebody from the PBC get on the pound for pound list besides an Errol Spence? You know what I mean? Let's keep it real, man. Yeah, so where we at in the chat? Wise King says, yep. DJ Incredible says, Danny used to fight for the KO early in his career. He did. But then we also got to remember, who was he fighting early in his career? He was knocking everybody out. Danny Jacobs was a KO artist up until the Triple G fight. You know what I mean? Now the KOs have ceased. You check it. And that happens when you step up your competition. He should have stopped Luis Arias and these type of guys. You know what I mean? Selecki, Derevchenko. Now, Derevchenko's a tough guy. You know, but he didn't look great in none of them fights that I mentioned. None. You know what I mean? So, Tilo Orinos in the chat. How you doing? He says, hearing you all the way from Houston, Texas. Much love. Salute to you. Salute to y'all down there in H-Town, man. H-Town's never been there. But H-Town's a great city, man. Historically, got some great rappers came out of H-Town, like... You know, my favorite rappers from down south mostly are guys from H-Town, man. You know, I like UGK. I know they Port Arthur, Texas. You know what I'm saying? Of course, Scarface, Ghetto Boys. That's royalty right there. Houston, Texas. You know what I'm saying? Salute to y'all down there in the H-Town, man. Minimax Boxing says, Better Beef would stop Cannoli. Better Beef has stopped everybody in his career. I don't know if he stops Cannoli. I'm not going to go that far because, you know, Cannoli does have a granite chin. I will say that, you know, and it will be a great fight, you know what I mean? But there's a highly possibility that could happen. But Better Beef is a guy. Better Beef was a guy I'm always up and down with the guy. I was so high on the guy when he first came out on the scene, when I first seen him. 4-0, knocking fellas out. 5-0, 6-0, 7-0, 8-0, dropping fellas. Everybody ain't going the distance with the guy. Then the guy had injuries and promotional problems, and the man was very inactive. And when he did come back, he would fight guys we'd never heard of. And even when he won his world title versus the Skogard, the Skogard guy, he didn't look great in that fight. He got a little fake ass stoppage in the 12th round to continue his streak. Then he impresses me when he fights the likes of not Better Beef. What's the guy? The Ukrainian Vazdik in a great fight where he really beat the will and beat the will out of the man Vazdik. You know what I mean? And now, what has he done since? He's been put on the canvas by Callum Johnson, you know what I mean? In a fight, what has he done since that fight with Vazdik when he unified titles? That's the thing with Better Beef. I'm a big fan of Better Beef, but he's always up and down. Like, he'll lay back in the cut, do a whole bunch of nothing, then come back and probably he'll do something great. So we'll see, man. We shall see, but I'm a big fan of Better Beef. I believe Better Beef beats all fighters at 175. From Bivol to Joe Smith Jr. versus that European guy, whomever wins that, there's a WBO champ. I mean, Minimax Boxer says Kovalev had only 2 months layoff when he fought Canelo after a war with Yard. Absolutely. I talked about that in a video I made probably last week. Kovalev fought on August 24th of 2019. He fought Canelo on November 2nd. So he had exactly 8 weeks. Or basically, let's say he had basically 9 weeks. But the man just came, like Minimax Boxer said, he was in a war with Anthony Yard. I mean, the guy only probably, if he really had a strict 8-week camp, that means right after the Yard fight, he only had a week to heal up, maybe take a vacation, relax, let his wounds heal up, then get back. Kovalev said it himself, man. He said he lost the fight by the time he signed on the dotted line. Kovalev, it was a big money grab. He got $12 million, you know what I mean? $12 million. I'm not going to say he got overpaid for that. Nah, I'm not going to say he got overpaid because Kovalev has paid his dues in this boxing game, like him or not. But the fact is, Canelo and them, they quickly and easily made that fight for $12 million because they know they give him a rehydration clause, all that. Barely had enough time to train. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to knock him out, stop him, and we're going to get that title. We're going to pay $12 million for that title. When it comes to other fighters, like a guy like Jamal Charlo, they're not going to pay that guy $12 million. That's just the truth. Demetrius Andrade, they're not going to get no $12 million to fight Canelo. They'll be lucky to get half of that. And they'll be told by Canelo and his superiors, man, you should be happy we giving y'all this amount. And that's just the truth of the matter, you know what I mean? Where we at in the chat? Jaden Morales says Canelo pound for pound number 1. Nope. And we're not gonna give you reasons why, because I've already done that. And I'm sure Jaden Morales heard me give all reasons why he's not. He's just trying to troll. Whatever. He can be number 1 pound for pound in your book, in your magazine, in your mind, in your head, whatever. Jaden Morales says, so did Mayweather versus Oscar. I'm not too sure what you mean by that. You might have to expound more on that, Jaden Morales, because y'all love to bring up Mayweather. Y'all hate Mayweather so much, but love to compare Canelo and try to compare him to Mayweather. That fella's funny, man. Expound more on that anyways. Minimax Boxing says, how can Canelo be number 1 pound for pound when Rosado arguably won as many rounds against the hydrated Jacobs as Canelo did against the drained Jacobs? Speak on it, Minimax. I got Alexander Usyk higher on my pound for pound list than Canelo. Absolutely. Usyk was a champion at like 10-0. Yeah. The man was a champion at 10-0. Unified 4 straps, 4 titles to become undisputed and win himself a Muhammad Ali trophy. Yeah, so Minimax Boxing, man, he's a youngster, man, but he just G-checked you. You guys there talking about Canelo pound for pound number 1. You know who you are. My young boy Minimax just G-checked you with a check left hook and a counter right hand, straight pull counter right hand right behind it. All right, Liam Dally says, what a joke. Gabe easily won that fight. Jacobs didn't do anything. I'm not going to say easily. Nah. Got to put things in context, you know what I mean? If you thought he won the fight, so you could say he won a close fight. So if you're saying he easily won that fight, Liam Dally, that means you must have had it wide. If you don't mind, let us know your scorecard, how you had this fight. Minimax Boxer says, the zone commentary sucks. The Sergio Mora is good. Sergio Mora is very good. I like Sergio Mora. Very good at the commentating. He was a good commentator with PBC before he got the job with DAZN. But the other guy, Chris Maddox is so agenda driven. God damn, the man was shitting on the fight the whole night. The whole night. Which I thought is negative for a commentator because they might be casuals watching the fight. You know what I'm saying? Rather than shit on the fight, give props to Gabe Rosado for doing the unexpected, outboxing. In a chess match, you know what I'm saying? He's outboxing the man Danny Jacobs off the jab with the lateral movement and the precise punching and activity. Rather than say that, than shitting on the fight and shitting, talking about they both ain't doing nothing. Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? So he was very negative tonight, you know what I mean? But at the end of the fight, very negative. He's there talking about Danny Jacobs gets a world title shot after this. Like, the man was all over the place, so he's terrible. I like the man Sergio Mora, not the Chris Mannix. Is he just says face of boxing Canelo. Okay, if you say so. Hey, you know Canelo fought that man Kovalev up there in the MGM or the T-Mobile and only had 7,000 people show up to that fight. 7,000. Y'all laughed at Andre Ward versus Kovalev, the second fight, and the first fight only having 6,000 people in attendance. And them two, Kovalev and Andre Ward, are by far nowhere close to being the face of boxing. So if that's the case, then how the fuck is Canelo the face of boxing when this man could only draw 7,000 people? Don't y'all know this man's popularity has dwindled? It's going down the drain. It's going flush down the toilet ever since he signed with DAZN. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? This man Canelo wasn't even, he was the fourth highest paid boxer. Deontay Wilder made more than him between the year of 2019 and 2020. Deontay Wilder made more money than the man Canelo. So what you talk about the face of boxing? When you come on B-Marsh Boxing, don't talk out the side of your neck and don't talk out your backside, Slim. You know what I mean? I like to talk boxing, but I hate agenda-driven people. This fucking live stream ain't even about Canelo. Y'all just mad. I don't know what it is y'all mad about, but you just got to bring up Canelo all of a sudden. Man, fuck Canelo, man. Canelo's about to weight drain this European dude, Callum Smith, about to go to his body pile, knock him out in 6 rounds, and then y'all gonna come tell me he the face of boxing. If he the face of boxing, why he don't fight no Mexicans and why he don't fight no Americans right here in North America? Why he gotta pull these fighters all the way from Europe? Fighters who don't stand a chance. Fuck out of here, man. Y'all fellas be on some other shit, man. Face of boxing, when Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, and Deontay Wilder, all three of them make more money than the man Canelo right about now. Face of boxing, boy, please. Boy, please, man don't even do no pay-per-view buys. He gets no pay-per-view revenue. How you gonna be the face of boxing when you fight on a blood clot app? Are you serious? Come on, man. Minimax Boxer says Maddox slept with Andrade. LMAO. Man, Maddox is out his, I don't know about this guy. And then again, this guy is not solely just a boxing guy. He's a Sports Illustrated guy who does all kinds of sports. So can't really listen to this guy for his expertise on boxing. Y'all could listen to B March Boxing though. Yeah, I'm a G-check fellas, man. When they come in talking out their backside, man. Face of boxing when the man couldn't even pull 7,000 people in a fight where they advertised him and tried to say, they said this man is like the modern day Henry Armstrong, Homicide Hank. That shit pissed me off that night I watched that fight. They said this man is about to hold 3 world titles simultaneously. They might be talking to Slim. What's Slim's name who wrote that Canelo face of boxing thing? They might be talking to you, to the casuals who don't know shit about boxing. You know what I'm saying? But they can't come and tell me that the man Canelo is a simultaneously holding 3 straps. Oh, since when was he a world champion at 168? Oh, because he beat Bill Wennington, a.k.a. Rocky Feldon? Come on, Slim. You got to do better than that. You got to do better than that. Where we at in the chat? Yeah, Ishija. He probably, you know what I'm saying? That probably was, damn, I got to charge my jack. Let me charge this joint right quick because while I'm reading these live streams, okay, where we at in the chat? Minimax Boxer says, man, okay, I read that. JMI 89 says Jacobs is trash. I've been said that. I don't know if he's trash. I'm not gonna go that far. Nope. I bet you Jacobs could whoop your ass. You see me? I'm cut from a different cloth. I don't call none of these boxers trash. I don't, man. How could I? I don't call them bums neither. I don't. These guys will fuck you up quick, fast, and in a hurry. Go tell these guys that they trash and go ahead and try spar with these guys. You know what I mean? That's what I'm not going to do. I don't disrespect fighters. You know what I'm saying? I don't do that. I don't have to. You know what I mean? I could call it what it was tonight. Did I think Jacobs won this fight? No. But I don't got to call him trash. If this guy's trash, what about Gabe Rosado? Look at Gabe Rosado's record. He has plenty of losses. If Jacobs is trash, what about Gabe Rosado? Because obviously Gabe Rosado ain't even get the W tonight. So let's not just talk sideways about boxers who give us the blood, sweat, and tears for our entertainment, get punched in the face for our entertainment. Let's not do that. You know what I mean? JMMI says Canelo fans saying Jacobs was the second best at 160. Nah, I don't think he ever was. No. Nah. G Money says GGG on his way out. Absolutely. And GGG is trying to just fight the Zarametas and them type of fighters. And the Cannoli. Nothing else. There's nothing else in between that interests him unless it's going to be another fighter who's like a Rod Salka type, you know, the Dominique Wade types. You know, those are the type of fights Triple G gets up for. You know what I mean? Boxing Learner says Demetrius said he's no longer interested in GGG. I don't know why. Main Boxing Biker says that's what they always want. That black guys damage the two black guys damage each other up, then hope boys come in and clean up the wounded warriors. Yeah, man, and I ain't trying to see that. We don't need no Demetrius Andrade versus Charlo when that fight is damn near impossible to make because of politics and networks, when Triple G's right there for Andrade over there and Cannoli on the zone. These are fights that could be made very fast. You know what I mean? G Money says Cannoli taking a page from Floyd. Please expound on your statement. Ishija, okay. I'm going to skip that guy because this guy don't know shit about boxing. Jay will be here for you. Charlo ain't beating GGG. That's your opinion. I'm sure there's others who will say Charlo will beat GGG. We'll never know up until they fight, right? Elroy Prunetta says Canelo will whip all those boys. Keep it real. Whip who? So he doesn't need to fight anybody, right? Because we know he'll whip all of them. Now look, if he fights Charlos, Cannoli fights Caleb Plant, I'm gonna favor Cannoli. I still want to see the fight. I'm not like you guys who, he'll beat him, so I don't need to see them fights. I'm not like you guys, dogs. We come from a different cloth. There's a real boxing channel, not no fanboy, Cannoli fanboy thing, you know what I mean? Or anybody fanboy. I'm a fan of boxing first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? Jay will be here for you, says Benavidez is a B type of fighter. Neutral Natural, what's up with you, G? He's in the chat with the watching emoji. Well, I was watching emoji. Jay will be here for you, says heart don't always match skills. Carlos Cruz says, who won? Jacobs Rosado. Jacobs won split decision. Controversial split decision. Neutral Natural says Canelo shouldn't have won Fight of the Year in 2019. He didn't deserve it. Fight of the Year? Resume-wise in 2019. Who the hell did he fight in 2019? If he fought who? Jacobs? He fought 2 fights. Jacobs and Kovalev. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't think those 2 fights. Fight of the Year is usually a man who wins Fight of the Year is somebody who does something extravagant at least in the year, once in the year, and also beats very good fighters. You know what I mean? You check it like when Donaire won it back when he was moving up weight classes. I believe 2012. When Adonis Stevenson won it in 2013, he knocked out Chad Dawson in spectacular fashion. And then he beat he had like 4 fights that year. That's how he won Fight of the Year. All fights he won them by knockout. And the first man to stop Tony Bellew, you know what I mean? Beat the shit out of Tony Bellew like nobody has before. Not even Usyk beat him up like that, you know what I mean? So when Bud Crawford won the Fight of the Year one time, he'd gone over to England and beat Ricky Burns in Scotland in hostile racist territory. He went out there and beat him in Scotland, and he did other things, you know what I mean? Alfonso Morris says, neither one did nothing. Neutral Natural says, Usyk ain't no pound-for-pound fighter. No more. He's a French top 10 heavyweight contender right now, but he would beat guys like Dubois and Makhmudov. He is a pound-for-pounder still right now. He is. Because of what he did at cruiserweight and moved up in weight. And look, how many fights has he had at heavyweight? Only 2. And he's due for a title shot with the WBO next. It's up to Joshua to fight the man next if he does, you know what I mean? And if he beats him, then he's definitely number 1 pound-for-pound fighter in boxing, period. You know what I'm saying? Alfonso Morris says, Sergio cool. Yeah, Maddox was garbage. Absolutely. Boxing Learner says, Chris Mannix, what's with that dude? I don't know, man, but that guy disgusted me last Friday when he came on Max Kellerman's Max on Boxing show and tried to convince Max and the worldwide listeners who listen to Max on Boxing on ESPN, the worldwide leader of sports, coming there trying to lie to us that the best fight to be made in boxing right now, not even Tyson Fury and AJ or Bud versus or Teofimo versus Tank. The best fight to be made is Charlo versus Andrade. Boy, please. F up out of here, man. LaMichael Williams says pound for pound is everyone, anybody who steps in the ring is pound for pound. It makes heart and dedication. Trust me, because at the end of the day, everybody idol, everybody. Oh man, Claudia Flores says it dwindled because of De La Hoya. DAZN was holding him back from the big money fights. Oh my gosh, Claudia, what do you mean big money fights? The man Canoli was getting guaranteed $35 million per fight regardless whom he fights, and that's bad business practice. What's the incentive of even fighting a tough fighter if I'm going to get paid $35 million fighting a good fighter, the best of the best in divisions? If you want to campaign at 160, 168, 175, fight the best of the best for $35 million, or you could fight the bottom feeders, the guys who are not elite and still get $35 million. That's not on. Claudia Flores. As a matter of fact, if you know anything about since Canoli has been on DAZN and De La Hoya have been challenging Canoli to fight better fighters. De La Hoya himself said, for him to have a complete legacy, he has to fight Jamal Charlo. Canoli never utters these guys' names, Andrade, Jamal Charlo, out of his mouth. De La Hoya said he has to fight these guys in order for him to have a strong boxing legacy because De La Hoya sure enough fought any and everybody. Only guy he never fought was the Terry Norrises, and Terry Norris by that time had already got knocked out when they were supposed to fight, and he never ever fought Winky Wright. That's it. Besides that, De La Hoya fought everybody, unlike Cannoli. So no, I don't agree with you on that, Claudia Flores. DAZN wants this guy to fight Andrades and the Triple G's and these guys. What did Cannoli say when he came over to DAZN? He wasn't trying to fight Triple G. He wasn't trying to fight him. You got to remember, the 2 Triple G fights were on HBO pay-per-view that did 1 million. Great numbers. He can't get that type of money on DAZN when he gets a flat fee of 35 million. You know what I'm saying? So DAZN and Oscar De La Hoya were challenging Cannoli to fight better fighters. He ignored them, and that's why he wanted out of DAZN. Now he's his own man. He got up out of his contract with Golden Boy and De La Hoya. What's the first news I mentioned when he became a free agent? There's a possibility he might fight Caleb Plant. That fell through. And now he's fighting the man, who the fuck? Callum Smith again on DAZN. That's why his popularity dwindled, Claudia Flores. It's dwindled because the guy's fighting on the app and he's not fighting great fighters. I told y'all before, when Cannoli used to fight on pay-per-view, my Hispanic neighbors would always have fight parties. Cinco de Mayo, Mexican Independence Day weekend. Coming up in that joint, everybody strolling through. They got their Coronas. They about to have a fight party. The last time my Hispanic neighbors have had a fight party was when Leo Santa Cruz fought Tank Davis. Any of the Cannoli fights, it's quiet as a church mouse. A lot of people ain't even getting to see these fights. I'm trying to tell you, there's a shitload of people I know who did not even watch Kovalev versus Cannoli. And even when they heard the results, they didn't even care to go watch the replay or go find a copy to watch it. So the popularity is dwindling, and his paydays as well, as far as him being the cash cow in boxing. He's not no more. It's because of the caliber of fighters he's fighting. I mean, yeah, hey, man, I'm not Mexican, but I do revere guys like Marco Antonio Barrera, Juan Manuel Marquez, and Eric Morales and Julio Cesar Chavez. These guys are critical on Cannoli, and they say the exact thing I say. So if y'all got a problem with what I'm saying, go check the Mexican legends as well. You know what I mean? Omar Arab says, Jacobs doesn't beat any of the top super middleweights. Time will tell. We need to see him in there with them. Mike 104 says, what's good, B Marsh? What the deal, Mike 104? My dude, good guy, man. That's my guy. That's my ace boom coon for real. You know what I mean? We've talked on the hangouts before. He don't come and he be putting me on the game. You know what I mean? Salute to Mike 104, man. Real boxing head with real boxing knowledge. All right. Omar Arab says, Rosado won that sparring session. Jaden Morales says, I'm down to get schooled by Canelo for that check. Charlo. The Brotherhood says, what's up, the Brotherhood? This is the guy that Charlo's supposed to be scared of? LOL. The Brotherhood, Charlo will trash him. Charlo will trash Jacobs? I'm not too sure about that. We need to see these fights happen, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? We need to see these fights happen, but I don't think he'll trash him. Claudia Flores says, watch, now that he's free and out of the zone, he will chase the lion soon. I hope so. I hope you're right. Brandon Delgado says, I feel like Gabe pulled it out. He probably did, man. Like I said, I have this fight a draw. But if anybody won this fight, I got it for Gabe Rosado. It's just like the first Triple G fight, which Triple G versus Cannoli fight, which I won $100 on the night. I've spent $5. I got $100 back. I put money on a draw, you know what I mean, and got 105 back total. That fight, I had it a draw on my scorecard 6-6. But if anybody edged that fight and won that fight, it wasn't Cannoli. Hell nah. It was Triple G who won that fight. Now, the second fight, that I had that fight 8 rounds to 4 for Cannoli. I thought he schooled the man. Triple G. You know what I mean? You check it. But the first fight, I had it a draw. But if anybody was to win that fight, I would edge it to the man Triple G. Jay Andrews in the chat, he says, I fought Paul Spadafora in 2004. Does anyone know what's up with him? Is he still alive? Jay Andrews, are you serious? you fought Paul Spadafora? Man, Paul Spadafora, man, I'm sure he's over there. If he's not in jail over there in Pittsburgh, in a state penitentiary in the state of Pennsylvania, I hope he's doing all right, man. And I'm not just pulling that out of a rabbit's hat. The last time I made a video on Paul Spadafora when it was some boxing news, he had got into an altercation with his pregnant woman or something. You check it, some kind of domestic violence thing, and man got arrested, you know what I mean? And Paul Spadafora is a belligerent alcoholic too, you know what I mean? And Paul Spadafora, I think, only has one loss till this day on his resume. You know what I mean? So that's the last I heard of him. And this is at least 2016, 2017 when I made a video about him. Alex 2004, I'm not too sure what language he's speaking. I think that's Russian. Can't call it. Boxing Learners in the chat. Salute to Boxing Learner. Says it's the same with Canelo when he fought Miguel Cotto, but he didn't fight GGG the fight right away. Instead of fighting Kovalev, he should have fought Charlo. Absolutely. And again, Miguel Cotto, man, thanks for bringing that up. Cotto was old. He was faded when he fought the man Cannoli. And guess what? Cannoli still barely won that fight. I had that fight 7 rounds to 5. And some people actually had Cotto winning. Now, I don't agree with Cotto winning that fight. I thought the right man won. But Cannoli didn't look good in that fight. Nah, I want some money on that fight too. You know what I'm saying? I want some money on that fight too. But you know, and guess what? He was faded, man. He fought that guy when he was way past his prime, you know what I mean? Omar Abu Rab says, who you got, Spence versus Garcia? I'm slightly leaning towards Errol Spence, you know what I mean? Yes. A Boxing Learner says it would have been great. Absolutely, yeah. But you're right about that, Boxing Learner, about when Cannoli fought Miguel Cotto rather than fighting Triple G. He was ducking Triple G till the man Triple G looked vulnerable versus Danny Jacobs. That's a fact. Point blank. Stamp. Put a stamp on it. Claudia Flores says, like your show, I'll be looking out for it. Thank you, Claudia Flores. Salute. I appreciate that. You know what I mean? Boxing, I'm not a fanboy, man. B-Marsh boxing, I love boxing. I love boxing. I don't love no fighters. I mean, you check it. I don't love no fighters. Now, there's certain fighters whom I do love their style. I like, I always get to watch them when they fight. You know what I mean? You check it. I like cerebral fighters. You know what I'm saying? Cerebral fighters. But I'm a fan of boxing. Even if it's a guy that I'm a fan of, who I do like their boxing skill set, I will never come on here and jeopardize my integrity just to protect or make excuses for any particular fighter. I gotta call it like I see it. Because at the end of the day, no matter which fighter loses or wins or draws, I never lose sleep off no fighter losing. You know what I mean? Burgess Meredith says, I thought Cotto won. See, there we go. There we go. Hey, you ain't the only one. There was a lot of people who thought Cotto won, but I thought Cannoli won that fight. A clear 7 rounds to 5. Claudia Flores says, Omar, Spence will take out. She's telling Omar, Spence will take out Danny. I don't think he'll get knocked out. It'll go the distance. Danny Garcia ain't getting knocked out. Danny got a granite chin. He got a cast iron chin as well. You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, I have more faith in Danny Garcia's chin than Errol Spence's. Just overall, watching them their whole careers. You know what I mean? Claudia Flores says, Cannoli was mismanaged. He is free and looking to fight the best. Man, time will tell. Time will answer that statement. And I don't think he was mismanaged. How was he mismanaged when up until a year ago he was the cash cow of boxing? You know, only one of the only fighter besides Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather who can be close to even doing a million buy pay-per-view. Now he did that with Miguel Cotto and Triple G. You need a good dance partner. But when he was on HBO, them fellas was definitely like the cash cow in the face of boxing. You know what I mean? But even when he was on HBO, he still was easily picking opponents when they're a little past their prime, and you know, look, fighting the likes like Liam Williams and these type of guys. I don't think he was mismanaged. You know what I mean? I thought De La Hoya was doing a good job with them. Apart from not apart as far as building his profile, not a great job as far as fighting the best of the best. And Canoli's been around for a long time. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I've been seeing Canoli on my television screen since the year 2010. You check it. So he's been on TV for 10 years in USA, not in Mexico. I'm sure if Mexican fight fans have been watching him since he was 15 when he turned pro, you know what I mean? But till this day, when has Canoli fought the best of the best? Floyd Mayweather, I could say that, and we know what happened in that. When he fought Eris Landy Lara, I thought Lara won that fight. You know what I'm saying? Where we at in the chat? Nine Pruto says, that's crazy. This whole time I thought Jacobs was from Brooklyn. They said he's from Philadelphia. What are you talking about, Nine Proto? Danny Jacobs is from Brownsville, Brooklyn. He ain't from Philadelphia. His opponent, Gabe Rosado, is from Philadelphia. Yes, he's from North Philly. Danny Jacobs is from Brownsville, Brooklyn, home of Zab Judah, home of Riddick Bowe, home of Mike Tyson, home of Curtis Stevens, home of let's go, champ, Shannon Briggs. You know what I mean? Brownsville, Brooklyn is like, and what's that? Bukum, Ghana. They're like the two neighborhoods in boxing that have produced the most world champions as far as a square radius of a neighborhood. You know what I mean? Bukum, Ghana over there. Bukum has produced numerous world champions, from Ike Quartet to Isaac Dogbay to what's the guy's name? Joshua Clotty to Richard Comey, Azuma Nelson, you know what I'm saying? And and Brownsville, Brooklyn produced all them world champions I mentioned. Okay, so where we at? Sufi guy says, does anyone want Rosado to fight Jacobs again? Probably not. No. I don't think I want to see that again. But I do think Gabe Rosado should get a step-up fight, a more high-caliber fight, like a fight like you would get if you did get the victory tonight. You know what I mean? I think it's only right. Omar Aburab is telling Claudia, I don't think that Spence will knock Danny out. He couldn't knock out Mikey or Porter, and I think Danny has a better chin than he gets credit for. Spence wins by UD. I agree with you on all your points right there, that he ain't knocking Danny out. He couldn't even knock out Mikey Garcia. Preach. Nice one, Omar. Mike Yabanes says, Rosado won that fight. Boxing Learner says, do you think Billy Joe will fight Demetrius Andrade? They was talking about it tonight on the broadcast. That would mean that Bubu Andrade would have to step up and wait, and he wants all the smoke with Billy Joe. So you said, do I think they will fight? They should fight. It should be up to Eddie Hearn. He should make that fight. Both guys are promoted by Matchroom. Now, one guy's Matchroom USA. That's Andrade. The other guy is Matchroom England. So if that fight don't happen, got to blame Eddie Hearn and both fighters as well. But mostly the guy, maybe Billy Joe Saunders, because he fucked up the fight in the first place, taking steroids when the fight was initially supposed to happen. Okay, where we at? Claudia Flores says, Omar, he won't knock him out, but will win in 12. Yes, indeed. Adrian Franco says, who you got winning tomorrow? Who's fighting tomorrow? Mike Tyson? Well, tomorrow, look, I think I'm going to hold my reservations for tomorrow's fight. I'm going to do a live stream tomorrow afternoon. Maybe tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to do a live stream covering all the fights that are happening tomorrow. and especially the more significant fights happening out in England with Daniel Dubois and Joe Joyce. You know what I mean? So I haven't been there. I've been so busy this week. So busy. Today was Black Friday. I even went out to the mall, bought my daughter and my pops some polo shit. You know what I'm saying? There was 50% off on Polo Ralph Lauren. So I will spend like $300 over at the Polo store. And that's the only store I went into because today was a working day. I still had to come back home and go ship out all these electronics, go to the post office. So I've been quite busy for this October and November, which is good. And I'm looking forward to December. It's going to be a whole lot of sales, man. Can't wait for December. It's going to be a good... Anyways, let me finish this, man. Let me stop talking too much about work, man. So Agent Franco, tomorrow I'm going to do a live stream, you know what I mean? Because I'd be lying to you right now, Agent Franco, if I told you for sure I think Mike Tyson wins or Roy Jones wins or Daniel Dubois wins or Joe Joyce, you know what I mean? Okay? So I'm not sure, Adrian Franco, but tomorrow I will be on my live stream for sure. Mark Yabanez says Jacob's performance sucks. Gabe's won the fight. Yeah, he did. He did suck tonight. And Maddox or Chris Mannix, the commentator, wasn't doing a good job saying all the good stuff that the guy's neutralizing that man's power with this jab. You know what I mean? Rosado was neutralizing the man's Danny Jacobs' power. You know what I mean? They weren't talking about all the good stuff he was doing. But anyways, that's what happens when you get a non-boxing pundit talking boxing. Claudia Flores says, I have a feeling if Canelo wins against Callum, he will call out Charlo next. Man, Canoli don't call out nobody. Claudia Flores, how long you been watching Canoli, man? Seems like you just started watching him like 5 minutes ago, man. That man don't call out nobody. You don't call out nobody, especially black fighters. Are you mad? Them fellas, Canoli don't call out no black fighters. None. You know what I'm saying? The reason they made that Danny Jacobs versus Canoli is because it was a unification. Wasn't no bad blood against him. As a matter of fact, this man, Danny Jacobs, was even too polite, too friendly, and too respectful to the man, Canoli. Canoli knew he had him in the bag, you know what I'm saying? And then again, look, now Canoli's a free agent. To me, that would mean he can fight anywhere on Top Rank, ESPN, PBC, Showtime, and Fox, The Zone, anywhere he pleases. So, look, we shall see. We shall see if he calls out Charlo next. You know what I mean? I highly doubt it because he don't call out anybody at all, let alone black fighters. So we shall see, man. We shall see. Nam Pronto says, I was just making fun of the post-fight botch by the ring announcers. That's what they said? I didn't get to hear that. To be honest. I didn't peep that, Nam Proto. I didn't peep that. So, yo, man, B-March Boxing. Claudia Flores says, watch. Yes, a free agent. Yeah, he's a free agent. He's a free agent that was suing The Zone and Golden Boy and De La Hoya and still went back to fight on The Zone. I don't get it. And he's fighting Callum Smith. Now, look, I have no problem with the Callum Smith fight. None whatsoever. I do have a problem with giving this man only 4 weeks to prepare, though. That's fucking pathetic and disgusting, in my opinion. That's whack, man. That's terrible. That's bullshit. That's that type of shit. God damn, that's bad, man. That's no good, dogs. That's disgusting. Business business etiquette. You know what I mean? Gonna give the man 4 weeks to prepare. I have no problem with the fight. The guy's a champion. He has a Ring Magazine title. Some say he's the man to beat at 168. How? He's not a unified champion. Nobody at 168 pounds is a unified champion. There's 4 titles just lingering there. Nobody in 168 is holding 2 straps. So nobody is the man at 168. None of them. Not Caleb Plant, not the vacant WBC belt, not Callum Smith, not who's that? Who else am I missing? Not Billy Joe Sanders. None of them. None of them. They're all unproven. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Omar Aburab says Lara is the only undefeated fighter with losses on his records. Yeah, you got to explain that. That don't make sense. Please explain what you mean, Omar Aburab, so we can really know what you're saying, because you said Lara is the only undefeated fighter with losses on his record. He's not undefeated. Or Arislandi Lara is not undefeated. So you got to explain. Claudia Flores says Callum is no joke. He has a great left hook, body punches, and can fight going backwards. Man, that guy's garbage. It's another Euro bomb, man. He's not that good. He beat a crippled a guy, George Groves, who had a bad shoulder, and George Groves was outboxing him for 6 rounds till he got caught in the 7th with 1 punch, and that changed the fight. Okay, did you watch Callum Smith's last fight versus John Ryder, a guy with multiple losses? Now we're not gonna look, Claudia, I understand you're a fan of Canoli. I understand that, but I've been doing this boxing thing for too long. We don't have to prop up such and such fighter to make it look like Canoli is beating a great fighter. He's not. That's what we're not gonna do. We ain't gonna do that. I told you already, I'm not mad at the fight one bit. Just give this man a legitimate 8-week training camp. And don't have him on no rehydration clause thing. You know what I mean? But he's not that good. He's not he's not. Mike 104 says Canoli professionalism left a long time ago. He doesn't fight at Canoli weight, and doesn't have one fight without caveats. You mean when he be taking steroids and shit? You know, these Canoli fans be forgetting that this guy that they try to come and tell me is #1 pound for pound popped twice dirty for steroids. You know what I'm saying? Y'all forget about that. Y'all forget this guy Canoli was crying, bitching when Floyd Mayweather was the man in boxing, that Floyd Mayweather had the Mexican Independence Day weekend, second weekend of September, and Cinco de Mayo dates. He had them locked. Floyd Mayweather never missed a date. Every May, Cinco de Mayo, and Mexican Independence Day, he fought. Canoli was crying that Mayweather need to give up those dates. And this is a Canoli crying after he lost to Floyd Mayweather. 12 rounds to zip. He was crying that Floyd got these dates. Now that he's the quote-unquote, air quotes, cash cow of boxing, Canoli don't even keep those dates. He's not disciplined enough to keep the Mexican Independence Day dates, and Cinco de Mayo dates, which really are like boxing holidays in the United States and worldwide for big time boxing. You know what I'm saying? Those are like Christmas Day, NBA, Thanksgiving Day, NFL. Those are marquee dates for these respective sports, and Canoli don't even keep them dates. Not to mention all the clenbuterol he be having in his system. So y'all got to talk to somebody else, man. I've been watching and doing this boxing thing for too long to be have the wool pulled over my eyes for y'all to tell me that Canoli is a great fighter. That's what we're not going to do. Boxing Learner says 168 is a dry division now. Not too dry. It's better than 160 right now, I'll tell you that. Because the fights at 160 are not being made. When DAZN first started, 160 division on DAZN was like, God damn, look at 160. That's one of the best divisions in boxing. Little did we know that Triple G and Canoli will not be fighting the black fighters over there on the DAZN channel, except for Danny Jacobs. You know what I'm saying? That Canoli fought. They ain't trying to fight nobody. You know what I'm saying? They're getting cherry pick fights, and that's why that division turned to shit. Omar Aburab says the reason why Cyrus Landy is undefeated on his record because, in my opinion, he got robbed in all his losses. He should have won against Paul Williams, Canelo, and Hurd. Now stop. Come on, man. Now look, Omar Aburab. Paul Williams, yes, I had Landy Lara winning that fight. Bad decision. That's what we call a robbery. Canelo wasn't no robbery. I had Landy Lara winning that fight. But it wasn't a robbery, you know what I mean? I did actually have it 8-4, maybe 7-5. But it wasn't no robbery, you know what I'm saying? But I thought Lara definitely won that fight. Not a robbery. But Jared Hurd, stop, man. Jared Hurd beat the shit out of Landy Lara, Slim. Did you see Lara's face at the end of that fight? Did you see my man Jared Hurd put this guy on the canvas? Drop him in the 12th round. And if you want to say that fight was a draw, then the knockdown's the difference. Landy Lara, and I'm a big fan, he ain't win that fight, man. And then Omar Aburab, I'm not sure if you've ever watched Landy Lara versus Carlos Molina, and I'm a big Lara fan. Landy Lara got the victory, but he really lost that fight. As a matter of fact, that decision should have gone to the Carlos Molina, the Mexican guy, former IBF 154-pound champion. That's why I wanted you to expound on what you're saying. You know what I mean? Because I didn't quite agree with what you were saying, undefeated. And he's not, man. He got a gift decision himself. And that was versus Carlos Molina. And Jared Hurd fight, come on, man. Jared Hurd beat the dog shit out of Landy Lara. Landy Lara, as a matter of fact, Omar Aburab has not been the same since. He used to be the boogeyman at 154. Yeah, he used to be. Then the man Jared Hurd fought that guy because the Charlos didn't want no smoke with the man Landy Lara. Jared Hurd got up in the ring and beat the shit out that man. Fucked him up. You saw his face? And put him on the canvas, you know what I mean? And he ain't win that fight. No, he ain't win that fight. Since then, Landy Lara has fought a bunch of nobodies. And I'm not mad at him. He's even old right now, you know what I mean? So I can't agree with you about Landy Lara being undefeated. Nah, he's not undefeated. He's lost to Jared Hurd, and he really should have got a loss against Carlos Molina. But against Paul Williams and Cannoli, I'm with you 100%. He won those fights. May 4th, he says, he keep calling him Cannoli. Mike 104 says, Cannoli never reigned in any weight class, only Cannoli weight. He has all the contractual advantages against every opponent, catch weights, PED level adjustments, short camps, the whole nine. Hey, man, but some of these Cannoli fans, they try to ignore these type of things and just to prop up a guy. Like, that's like going into the mirror every day, every night, or every morning when you brush your teeth, getting ready to go to sleep or getting ready to start your day. You look in the mirror and you keep lying to yourself on some Kenny Powers shit. Like, yeah, I'm the man. I'm the man. I got a big ass mansion. I could smash all the pretty girls in the world. I got 20 cars outside. Just lying to yourself in the mirror when knowing these things are not true. That's how Cannoli fans come off to me. When they know all these things that Cannoli does from his Cannoli weight from the 155 back in the day. But they ignore these things and the steroids to come and tell me that he's number one pound for pound. That will never fly over here, man. I don't give a fuck if it's Cannoli, anybody on planet Earth, any boxer who is doing these type of egregious things. They could never get number one pound for pound in my book. That's out. Okay, where we at in the chat? Main Boxing Biker says, until one of the Cannoli fans can explain him fighting at Cannoli weight, I don't want to hear ish. Preach. Main Boxing Biker says, I was live at the Lara versus Hurd. Oh, word? Where was that fight at? It was in Vegas, right? You was there in Vegas for that? Let me find out you was in Vegas for that Main Boxing Bike on some Big Willie shit, man. Because, you know, us over here on the East Coast, if we do go to Vegas to watch a boxing fight and be live in attendance, it ain't cheap. It ain't cheap. It costs some money. It costs some bread to go out there. And that's just something we do over here on the East Coast, man. If you got some paper, you know what I mean, on some Big Willie shit. At least once in your life, you know what I mean? You check it, go out to Vegas for a prize fight. You know what I'm saying? Let me find out, man. May 4th says, speaking of this Crawford not fighting anybody got to stop. Boxing Learner says Chris Eubanks is disappointing as well. He got beat Chris Groves with one arm. Yeah, but Chris Eubanks, man, he's not disappointing, man. He's a guy who started boxing late. You know what I'm saying? As doesn't have a big extensive amateur background, and he's just not that good. He's just not. He's a very crude, rudimentary fighter. He's not disappointing. He is who he is. You know what I mean? I knew you thought he was gonna beat George Groves. I ain't know. Nah, man. There's no fight that he lost that I thought he was gonna win. Even when he fought Billy Joe Saunders, I thought I picked Billy Joe to win that fight. You know what I'm saying? That fight versus Korobov, his last fight, only went 2 rounds till Korobov popped his shoulder out the socket. Round 1, Korobov was piecing Eubanks up, though. You know what I'm saying? He was piecing him up. Yeah, man. Mike 104 says, all of them at 160 and 154 from 2013, 2016 failed to mix it up. All they did was play musical chairs with the rankings. Yeah, man. Yeah, they got real disappointed when I realized these guys ain't fighting each other, man. Just Triple G and Cannoli gonna go for a money grab and gonna freeze everybody else out. Omar Aburab says, I gotta rewatch Hurd versus Lara. You got to, man. That definitely was, nah, man. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and front like Lara ain't win no rounds. I had that fight 8 rounds to 4. You know what I'm saying? At worst, 7 rounds to 5. Now, if you even want to tell me that fight was a draw, and you ain't gonna tell me that man Jared Hurd only won 5 rounds. You know what I'm saying? Because if that fight's a draw, then the knockdown has to be the difference. You know what I'm saying? And that victory, 100% is all Jared Hurd. Omar Aburab says, I got to watch Lara versus Molina. I don't think I've watched that fight, and Lara is one of my favorite fighters. Yeah, you got to watch that. And Lara is one of my favorite fighters. Not now, has always been. Always. But he lost that fight, y'all. He did. Main Boxing Biker says, Vegas. True indeed. Yeah, that fight was in Vegas. Absolutely. That's what's up, man. Omar Aburab says, man, you sound like you from New York, brother. Nah, I ain't from New York. I live in Washington, D.C., but I used to live up in Boston, man. That's where I grew up at. You know what I mean? I grew up in D.C. too, but, I came from Boston before I moved down to the district. You know what I mean? You check it. So, man's from up north, you know what I'm saying? Main Boxing Biker says, I was at Barclays also for Hurd versus Trout. That was a great fight. And Trout was beating this man Hurd ass for 6 rounds. Then Hurd started getting tired. Trout started getting tired because he was piecing that man up. Then the man Hurd just started to wear him down. Pressure. And he broke that man Trout. That was a great fight. People were so mad. They were so mad. They thought Trout was going to win that fight. I ain't never picked against Jared Hurd. Never have. He lost his fight to J-Rock. I was live in attendance for that. Shocked the shit out of me and everybody else who watched it. Main Boxing Biker says, I think Chris Eubank was going to lose that fight. So did I. Yeah, Korobov was on one. He was on one that night, man. He was about to put in some work because he was coming off of that controversial decision versus Jamal Charlo. So he was trying to prove himself, and he was on his way to till his shoulder popped out the socket. Damn shame. Mike 104 says, Omar, saying Lara has no losses is an old expired viewpoint. That argument was stronger years ago before the Hurd fight. Lara 2014-15 was prime and on point. Absolutely. And he fought Carlos Molina in 2013, and he lost that fight, but they gave him the decision. Main Boxer Biker says Trent was fighting for his life to keep Hurd off of him. Absolutely, in the second half of that fight. Woo, man, I gotta watch that fight again, man. The man, Austin Trout, man, was looking good for 6 rounds, just like Tony Harrison was. Yeah, but he got tired because he couldn't hurt that man, Jared Hurd, because Trout's not a big puncher. And he threw out his whole load, man. And, man, he got worn down, you know what I mean? Omar Aburab said, I would have loved to see Paul Williams versus Floyd Mayweather or Lara versus Floyd. Well, Lara was Floyd Mayweather's mandatory for many years, and that fight never happened. His WBA mandatory at 154. And that's how Lara got elevated to world champion once Floyd Mayweather retired. They elevated Keith Thurman with the WBA 147, and they elevated Erislandy Lara with the WBA 154-pound title. You know what I mean? Paul Williams versus Floyd. You know, a lot of people say Floyd ducked that man. You know, they do. Now, I'd love to see that fight because Paul Williams was a welterweight up in around that time when there was all these welterweights, Shane Mosley, Cotto, Margarito, Pacquiao, motherfucking Floyd, all these guys. But y'all got to remember, after the, what's his name? Floyd had retired. He had retired, I think, and then he came back and fought Juan Manuel Marquez. You know what I'm saying? He had retired for a little bit and went and did the wrestling thing. And during that time, that's when a lot of people was talking about Floyd retired because he's ducking the man Paul Williams. I'm not going to go that far and say that. Even Paul Williams, he himself said Floyd never ducked me. But one guy they never say was ducking Paul Williams was Manny Pacquiao. They never say that. They always try to point the finger at Floyd. And I'm a fan of Floyd and I'm a fan of Manny Pacquiao. I love them both, you know what I mean? I love them both. These guys gave me great entertainment, you know what I'm saying? But they never said that Manny Pacquiao's ducking the man Paul Williams. Because when the man Manny Pacquiao beat Miguel Cotto for that 147-pound title, which was fought at a catch weight at 145, stopped Cotto in the 12th, guess who Manny Pacquiao's Mando was? None other than Paul the Punisher Williams. Yeah. They never fought. Manny Pacquiao never mentioned this guy. The guy kept calling him out, though. Paul Williams, he never got to fight. Fuck it. He moved out to 154. You know what I'm saying? Mike 104 says, Lara was my favorite fighter in college. His last name is Lara. My last name is Lara. LOL. Okay. What ruined his career is that he didn't go for broke against Canelo. He made the fight unwatchable for casuals. Was that the reason why, what ruined his career? I don't think his career was ever ruined. Look, this is America, Jack. Never, ever, ever has a Cuban fighter ever been a star in American boxing. Never has been. You know, it's just the truth. Cuban fighters have a hard time in America. You check it. Their careers are going to get bamboozled and railroaded sooner than later. And it's going to be by promoters. You know what I mean? Now, Joel Casamayor, 2 different weight class champion, silver medalist, 1992 Olympics in Barcelona, Spain. He had a great career. You know what I mean? He did. And at the end of his career, he was fighting the likes of Juan Manuel Marquez and Robert the Ghost Guerrero, Timothy Bradley when he moved up to 140. He was past his prime, you know what I mean? But he wasn't railroaded like guys like Yuriokis Gamboa, you know what I'm saying? 50 Cent did him dirty, you know what I mean? Guillermo Rigondeaux, he was railroaded by Bob Arum and HBO and all of them, you know what I'm saying? Who else we talking about as far as Cubans? We can talk about Erislandy Lara. Erislandy Lara was always a great fighter. You know what I mean? Styles make fights. Look at that fight he had with Angulo in December of 2013. What a fight. What a fight. And the man Lara got put on his ass. Came up off the canvas and busted that man Angulo's eye up. Styles make fights. Look at the fight he had versus Jarrett Hurd. One of the great fights of that year, 2018, Fight of the Year candidate. I don't think his career got ruined. His style is his style, okay? Cuban style. These guys are taught this style from when they're kids, you know what I mean? He outboxed the man, Cannoli. And that's why Cannoli don't fight these type of black slick fighters. He had nightmares against Austin Trout, Floyd Mayweather, and Erislandy Lara. Since then, he ain't never come close to these type of fighters. I don't think the man Erislandy Lara's career is ruined. I think just like his nickname, the American Dream. He's living the American Dream, Slim. You know what I mean? Lara makes $1 million per fight. You know what I mean? Regardless whom he fights. You check it, man got a beautiful wife. You know what I mean? His wife is vicious. She bad. You check it. Now the man Arislandi Lara, like I said, he's a Cuban. You know what I mean? At this stage of his career, he's gonna be picking his fights wisely, because he's the oldest. He's the old dog now at 154 pounds. They could turn him into a Gabe Rosado sooner than later. You know what I mean? Be a gatekeeper for the rest of these guys. I don't think his career is ruined because he's still there. He's still around. He's holding a little regular WBA belt. He wants all the smoke with the Charlo. I'd love to see that fight happen. As a matter of fact, that's the fight I hope that they can make happen next on PBC. Arislandi Lara versus his former stablemate, Jamel Charlo. But I don't think his career is ruined. I thought he fought a masterful game plan versus Canelo, outboxed the guy. You know what I'm saying? Main Boxing Biker said, me and my girl was like, yo, the mummy is wearing him down. My girl called him the mummy. That man was moving like a mummy out there, man, on some Frankenstein shit. Omar Abarab says, Mike 104, yeah, bro, I think towards the end of the fight, Lara felt like he had the fight in the bag because he started getting complacent. Mike 104 says, when Lara was a mandatory for Floyd, Floyd fought Maidana twice in Pac-Man. Both those fights are easily less risk plus more reward fights than Lara. Absolutely. Mike 104 says, also, promoters aren't exactly thirsty to throw Lara in another pay-per-view after he didn't close the show and go for broke against Canelo. Can't imagine Floyd wants a potential dud pay-per-view fight either. Yeah, that was going to be a fight, two master boxers, you know what I mean? I'd love to see the fight. I'd love to see a good chess match. But Floyd was more at that stage of his career, the last 6 fights on his Showtime deal, he was mostly fighting Hispanic guys. That's the truth. We could count who he fought. His first fight on the Showtime deal was Robert the Ghost Guerrero, who got that fight as a mandatory because he beat Andre Berto, right? That's how he got to be the Mando for Floyd. The second fight was who did he fight? He fought Canoli, a Hispanic, Mexican. Okay, then 2 fights with Maidana, Argentine Hispanic guy, and then Manny Pacquiao was his 5th fight on the Showtime deal. Filipino, who brings a whole country with him, and also Hispanic fans. When it came to Juan Manuel Marquez versus Pacquiao, they rooting for Juan Manuel Marquez. But when it came to Floyd versus Pacquiao, the Mexican contingent, the Mexican fan base, they rolled with Manny Pacquiao. You check it. So Pacquiao had that fan base against Floyd. And then Floyd's final fight versus Andre Berto. You check it. So at that stage of his career, he was more fighting for the money and what makes sense as far as who's going to bring the most pay-per-views, you know what I mean? But like you're absolutely right as far as he fought Maidana. But then you got to also understand too, Mike 104, Maidana, the first fight was a unification. It was Maidana's WBA belt versus Floyd Mayweather's WBC belt, a unification. The second fight, which I was in attendance for over there in Vegas, that's when Floyd put up every single title he has and fought the man at 147 and put up his 154-pound titles. I didn't quite like that. I didn't agree with that. But that opportunity could have been given to Lara. But then again, people tried to say that Floyd Mayweather lost the fight to Maidana. I had him winning the fight 8 rounds to 4. Then Floyd Mayweather said, oh, y'all thought he beat me? Let's do the rematch. And he washed him. Main Boxing Biker says Luis Ortiz done wrong by Matchroom. Absolutely, they did him dirty. Main Boxing Biker says Luis Ortiz was ducking, still being ducked by all heavyweights besides Wilder. Facts. Till today. But the Wilder haters and the AJ fanboys will try and act like Luis Ortiz is 50 years old and he ain't never fought nobody and he's not a good fighter. Why don't your guys fight the guy then? Why doesn't AJ and these guys fight the guy? But they're not going to say Kubra Pulev is old and Povetkin, these guys are old past. They're going to say these guys are great fighters. But when Povetkin got popped for the steroids, none of these people were saying how great of a fighter Povetkin is. It's double standards, hypocrisy. People say stuff. They only say nice stuff about the guys they like and the guys they hate. They're going to throw dirt on their name. You know what I mean? Um, Mike 104 says, I know Cuban boxers don't get the short end of the stick. I don't blame him or any Cuban fighter for it. I'm just thinking of why he never got more big shots after the Cannoli fight. Yeah, he's a high risk, low reward type of guy too. But for one, look, let's just go back in time, Mike 104. You got to remember there was a point in time when what's my guy from Houston's name, man? Motherfuck, the guy used to be in Ronnie Shields. Ronnie Shields, at one point in time, he had Erislandy Lara with the WBA strap, Jamal Charlo with the IBF strap, and Jamel Charlo with the WBC. He had all these three guys in his stable. None of these guys wanted any smoke with Lara. I used to make videos. The twins wanted no smoke with Lara, but Lara said, I don't give a fuck, man. I'll fight both of them. I'll fight both of them tonight. Lara wanted that work, you know what I mean? So that was one of the roadblocks that held them fights up. Because I'm pretty sure if it was other guys who had them straps and Lara had his WBA, we would have seen him in unifications if the other fighters wouldn't be scared to get in the ring with him. Okay, where we at in the chat? Mike 104 said, I'm sorry, Main Boxing Biker says, in fact, they think Usyk so bad, put him in there with Luis Ortiz and watch him get destroyed. Ortiz would school Usyk. I don't know about that. I ain't gonna go that far and say he gonna school him. Nah. I can't do that. Man, the man Usyk has an extensive amateur background, Slim. This guy's from where's he from? Ukraine. Yeah, guys, let's pay attention. I watch Olympics every year since 1988. I've been watching boxing on the Olympics. And in 2016, it was dominated by the Euro fighters. Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, Tajikistan, these type of countries. They got vicious boxers who are coming out these parts of the world. The Ukrainian fighters especially. They got deep, extensive amateur backgrounds, and these guys get taught boxing from when they kids. So did Luis Ortiz, Cuban style, right? We also got to consider age. Luis Ortiz is an older fighter. The man Usyk is younger than him. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying Luis Ortiz will lose that fight for sure. No, I ain't saying that. But I ain't just going to say that the man Usyk will get battered. Nah, man. I've seen this guy, Luis Ortiz, with other guys, Christian Hammers and Travis Kaufmans and these type of guys. And he ain't looked too particularly great against these guys. And those guys can't hold a torch against man like Usyk. That's just real talk, you know what I mean? Usyk right now has got the best feet in the heavyweight division. Get the best footwork, man. Okay, where we at in the chat? Mike 104 says, Lara is living it up too. I seen him on IG delivering supplies during Hurricane Harvey in Houston. Lara and his wife was whipping the G-Wagon in a hurricane flood, helping the people. He a real one. Absolutely, man. Lara's a real one. And I'm happy that he's making money as a Cuban who can't go back, a guy who defected, who's living, like his nickname says, the American dream. You know what I mean? Absolutely, man. If Lara retires right now or gets knocked out in his next fight, man, Lara's had a great career. Real talk, you know what I'm saying? Charles Jackson's in the chat. Sup, King? What's happening, G? What's up with you, dogs? Good to see you, Slim. Mike 104 says, Ronnie Shields has the meanest stable at 154, 160. The Charlos for sure learned and benefited with training with Lara. Lara said class dismissed. Absolutely. They got better fucking with Lara over there. Yep. Main Boxer Biker says, I just don't think that Usyk power gonna end laying out these heavyweights. Now, I don't think he's knocking out heavyweights. I think he can win points decisions. You know what I mean? I think he can win point decisions. I consider Usyk the second greatest cruiserweight ever after Evander Holyfield. You know, Holyfield came out the heavyweight, didn't knock out everybody, knocked out some guys, won decisions. But we consider him a great fighter. I'm not saying Usyk is gonna have the same exact career trajectory at heavyweight like Holyfield. Nah, but I think he got a lot of criticism on how he fought the man Chisora. I thought he fought the perfect game plan against Chisora and won comfortably. He's supposed to mix it up with that guy Chisora and stand there and trade with him. Don't do that. Main Boxing Biker says, and Chisora was rocking Usyk's world with them BS punches. He ain't rock him enough to win the fight. And matter of fact, he lost that fight wide. He was telegraphing a lot of his punches, man. That man Usyk won that fight. He ain't even get hurt, man. He ain't get hurt at all. I thought that was a good victory for him. Mike 104 says, Olympic boxing is great to see. Cuba, Russia, Eastern Bloc, India, and of course USA and UK prospects. Absolutely. Few Africans sprinkled in there. Absolutely, man. That's where you see, that's the future of boxing every time, every 4 years. If you're a boxing fan and you don't watch the Olympics boxing, then you ain't a real boxing fan, straight up. I watched Anthony Joshua. I remember his fight against that European Russian dude, the gold medal fight. A lot of people thought he lost that fight. It was controversial. And fucking Olympic boxing is controversial, period. I thought that Shakur Stevenson beat the Cuban guy. What's the Cuban guy who's now a pro? It's escaping my mind right now. A lot of people thought that Shakur won. A lot of people thought the other guy won. It's subjective when it comes to the scoring. What's up with you, Mike? Or Wood Stay Real TV? Salute to my guy Wood from the Beamore 410. Salute. He says, I fell asleep at round 2. Who won? Jacobs versus Rosado. Danny Jacobs won the fight. Split decision, controversial decision. Mike 104 says, if no sanctioning bodies pick up the Bridgerweight class, do you think it gets established fully? I think it might flop if no other sanctioning bodies pick it up. Well, I hope everybody in this boxing chat and everybody prays that Bridgerweight shit flops. So just another mafia tactic by the WBC. This guy, Mauricio Suleiman, he's more gangster than his pops. He's more gangster than Jose Suleiman, man. This guy really got fighters out here paying 2 sanctioning fees each for the same damn belt. Trying to bring him these Bridgerweight belts, and even be giving these pops fathers a kind of father-son belt, man. He's out here collecting checks. You know what I'm saying? But I hope that shit flops, man, straight up. Charles Jackson says, gaming online and listening to your video. What you playing, Charles Jackson? What you playing, my G? I only got one video game, and I actually got 2. I got an old FIFA 2018, which I probably ain't played in 2 years, and I got last year's NBA 2K, the joint with Anthony Davis on the cover. I'm gonna buy the new joint probably when NBA is gonna start like a week before Christmas, so I'm gonna probably buy the new 2K for before the season starts, because now they got the draft happen, we got rookies, we got a lot of trades have happened. You know what I mean? I got Call of Duty 2. I got it right now, but I got them for sale. I got a Call of Duties for Xbox One, Xbox Series One, PlayStation 5. All of their Call of Duty sold out, and I have plenty for PS4, and they selling every day. Boxing Learner says Chisora always does enough to lose. like I be saying, he doing too much but not enough. That's Chisora for your ass. But yo, man, B-March Boxing is 127 in the AMs. I'm about to seal the deal on this live stream. I salute every single one of y'all who came through. Main Boxing Biker, Boxing Learner, Charles Jackson, Mike 104, Wood Stay Real TV. Salute to all y'all. Salute to everybody. And because y'all, I know everybody who I mentioned. We also got Omar Abura. I've never seen you before. Thanks a lot for coming through. Everybody. The young lady, or May 4th, thanks for coming through. Claudia Flores, salute, girl. Thanks for coming through. And I remembered everything you said, and time will tell. Time will tell if Cannoli does as you think he will. We shall see. Mark Yabanez, Adrian Franco, everybody. all the trolls who came in this joint tugging on Cannoli's nuts. Man, says a lot about y'all when this is a Danny Jacobs versus Gabe Rosado live stream. Salute to everybody. B Marsh Boxing signing off. I'm gone. Peace.